I need to have an honest conversation with you today. Not a comfortable one, not the kind of reading that tells you only what feels good to hear, the kind that respects you enough to tell you the full truth because you deserve the full truth, even when part of it is complicated, especially when part of it is complicated. So I am going to ask you to stay with me through all of it. The part that feels validating and the part that challenges you, because both parts belong in this reading, and leaving either one out would be doing you a disservice. Here is what I feel when I sit with your energy today. There is someone in your orbit, someone you know well, someone who has been a significant presence in your emotional life who is not doing well without you. And I want to be specific about what I mean by that, because not doing well can mean many things. What I keep sensing is a specific kind of internal disruption, the kind that happens when someone loses access to something they had taken for granted, when the stability they assumed was permanent suddenly isn't there anymore, when the person they expected to always be available, always patient, always present, always willing to extend another chance, has quietly, finally, stopped being so available. That disruption is real. What this person is feeling is real. And some part of you already knows it. Some part of you has felt the shift in their energy even before any external evidence confirmed it. That intuitive knowing you carry, that precise, accurate sense of what is happening beneath the surface of things, has been picking this up for a while. So, yes, they want you back. I feel that clearly, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. But, and Virgo, this but is the most important word in this entire reading. This but is why I needed you fully present from the beginning, because what comes after it is the thing that actually matters, not just for this situation, but for the larger story of who you are becoming and what you are willing to accept as you move forward. Let me tell you what I feel about this person honestly, without romanticizing what I sense, because they deserve honesty too, even if it is the uncomfortable kind. This is someone who operates in cycles. I keep sensing this very specific pattern, a warmth that arrives when they feel uncertain about you, and a withdrawal that comes when they feel secure in your presence. When you are fully available, fully present, fully extended toward them, something in them relaxes in a way that produces distance, as though your consistent presence communicates that you are not going anywhere, and that security, rather than inspiring them to match your investment, actually reduces their urgency to show up. And then when you pull back, when you become less available, when something shifts in your energy that communicates that you are no longer waiting, the urgency returns, the warmth returns, the attention returns. And it can feel in those moments of returning warmth like something has finally changed, like this time will be different. I want to ask you something gently but directly. How many times have you been in this cycle with this person? I am not asking to make you feel foolish. I am asking because I think the honest answer to that question is relevant information. Information that your heart sometimes allows to be overridden by the relief of the warmth returning. And I want you to hold that information alongside the warmth this time rather than setting it aside. Because here is what I keep sensing about why this person is losing it right now. And I want to be clear that what I am about to say is not meant to be cruel toward them. People are complicated, people have reasons for the patterns they carry. People are often running old programming that they themselves do not fully understand. But understanding someone's reasons does not obligate you to keep absorbing the impact of their patterns. And that distinction between compassion for why someone is the way they are and acceptance of how that affects you is one of the most important distinctions in your life right now. What I sense is that this person is losing it not primarily because they have had a profound realization about your value, not because something has fundamentally shifted in them, not because they have done the deep internal work that would be required to show up differently than they have shown up before. What I sense is that they are losing it because your absence has created a discomfort they do not know how to manage. Because you were a source of something stability, warmth, consistent presence, the reassurance of being chosen by someone of your quality, and that source has become less certain. And the loss of certainty has produced panic, and panic looks from the outside very similar to changed feelings. But panic is not transformation. And wanting someone back is not the same as being ready to love them well. I want to stay here for a moment because I feel this is the center of the reading, the place everything else turns on. You have a decision to make. Or perhaps more accurately, you are in the process of making a decision. Maybe not consciously, maybe not with a clear deadline, but the decision is alive in your energy and it is asking to be made with your eyes open. And what I want to give you today is not a prediction about what will happen, but something more useful: clarity about what is actually in front of you. What is in front of you is someone who has real feelings for you. I believe that completely. Feelings that have been disrupted by your distance. Feelings that are producing in them something genuine, even if that genuine feeling is being expressed through the same hot and cold patterns that have always characterized how they move. They have not become a different person. They are the same person in a moment of wanting you, trying to reach back towards something they let slip. And what is also in front of you is a question that only you can answer. Not me, not the cards, not your friends or your family or anyone else who has an opinion about this situation. Only you. And the question is this: what do you actually need in order to be happy? Not what are you willing to accept, not what have you historically tolerated, not what feels familiar even when familiar and good are not the same thing. What do you actually need? Because if what you need is consistency, you know what this person's track record looks like. If what you need is someone whose warmth is not contingent on your distance, you know what the pattern has been. If what you need is to feel secure without having to carefully manage how available you appear in order to maintain someone's interest, you have information about whether this person has been able to offer that. I am not telling you what to decide. I genuinely mean that. This is your life, your heart, your story. And I know that real connections, even complicated ones, even ones with painful patterns, carry genuine feeling that cannot be dismissed simply because the pattern has been difficult. I know it is not simple. I know the warmth is real when it is there. I know that the version of this person that shows up in their best moments is someone you genuinely care about. What I am asking is that you hold all of it simultaneously. The genuine feeling and the pattern, the warmth and the cold, the wanting you back, and the honest question of what changes if you go back. I am asking you not to let the urgency of their wanting, and it is urgent right now, I feel that override the clarity you have been building about what you deserve. Because that clarity is one of the most valuable things you have ever developed. It was not easy to arrive at. It cost you something real. And it would be a significant loss to set it aside in a moment of emotional pressure, however genuine that pressure is, before you have honestly assessed whether anything has actually shifted. Here is what I feel the energy is asking of you specifically in this moment. And I want to say it plainly because I think you appreciate directness more than softness when the situation calls for it. Take your time. Do not respond to the urgency of their energy with urgency of your own. The fact that they are losing it does not mean you need to act quickly. The fact that they want you back does not create an obligation to be available immediately. You are allowed to sit with this. You are allowed to observe rather than immediately engage. You are allowed to watch whether what is being expressed right now is a moment of panic or the beginning of something that actually looks different from the patterns that came before. Time will show you which one it is, and you deserve to take that time without guilt. I also want to say something about what I feel is possible in this situation because I do not want this reading to be only cautionary, only analytical, only about the risks, because there is genuine feeling here on both sides, and genuine feeling, even when it has been expressed through difficult patterns, is not nothing. What I keep sensing is that this person is capable of more than they have shown you so far. That the capacity for something real, something consistent, something that actually honors what you bring, that capacity exists in them. It has not always been accessible. It has been buried under the patterns, under the fear of real vulnerability, under whatever history in them created this way of moving through intimacy. But it exists. And there is a version of this story, not a guaranteed version, not an inevitable one, but a possible one where this moment of disruption becomes the beginning of something different, where the panic of losing you creates enough internal pressure that something actually shifts, not just in their wanting, but in their willingness to do what wanting at this depth eventually requires. That version requires something from them that you cannot do for them. It requires them to look honestly at the pattern, to take responsibility for the impact of it, and to make changes that are visible and consistent over time, not just in moments of urgency, not just when the discomfort of losing you is loudest, but in the ordinary days, in the moments when you are present and the urgency is quiet and the old patterns would normally reassert themselves. Whether they are capable of that, whether they are willing to do that, is something only time and their own choices will demonstrate. Not their words, not even their current feelings, their choices sustained over time. And you, Virgo, you deserve to be with someone whose choices, sustained over time, consistently demonstrate that you matter. That is not too much to ask. That is not an unreasonable standard. That is simply the baseline of what real partnership looks like. So here is where I want to leave you, not with a directive, not with a prediction, but with this. You have clarity right now that is genuinely precious, a clear-eyed understanding of what has happened, what the patterns are, and what you need going forward. Hold on to that clarity as you navigate what comes next. Let it be in the room with you when this person reaches out. Let it sit alongside whatever feelings arise, and feelings will arise, real ones, because this connection has real depth. Do not suppress the feelings. Do not suppress the clarity. Let both be present. And from that place of feeling and clarity held together, make the choices that honor the person you have been becoming. The person who knows the difference between someone choosing them and someone fearing the loss of them, because you deserve to be chosen steadily, consistently, on the ordinary days as well as the urgent ones. You deserve someone whose warmth does not require your withdrawal to stay warm. That is the standard, and it is worth protecting. If this reading said something you needed to hear today, even if part of it was difficult, please leave a comment below. Tell me where you are in this. Tell me what you are thinking. Tell me what the but means for you right now. I read every word and I am genuinely here for all of it. Share this with someone who is navigating a complicated situation and needs help seeing it clearly. A like helps this reach the people who need it. And if you are not yet subscribed, I would love to have you here. Virgo, you see this situation more clearly than you give yourself credit for. Trust that clarity. It is one of your greatest gifts.